Hey guys, welcome back to another video. You see, I'm trying to be consistent. I'm trying my best, so you have to give me my flowers. So in case this is your first video you're seeing since I got back, I made a video last time talking about why I was away for almost 2 years, or maybe over 2 years, what I've been up to in that gap and what to expect going forward. So in this video we're just going to talk about how to get your full UK driving license. So if you do not live in the UK, or if you've just recently moved to the UK, then you can use your license from your country for 12 months. After 12 months you would need to get a full UK driving license to be able to drive in the UK. So for those of you who, or for those of us who come from Nigeria, you see there's something they will call the international license. Please don't waste your money getting the international license, because if you have a normal Nigerian license, that would also work here in the UK. Because come on, like the rule just said use your license from your country, they didn't say use an international license. That's about that. How to get your full UK driving license when you get to the UK. First thing you need to do is register to get your provisional license. I'm going to put the link in the description. So all you need to do is pay £34 if you've been given permission to live in the UK for I think more than 183 days. Then you are eligible to apply for a provisional license. So what you would need for that is 3 years address history, and I think your address history can be abroad. For when you've been abroad, you need to get a share code and fill on the form. So you can pick up the form from the post office if you want, or you could just go online, fill it up and pay online. So once you're done with that, you get it sent to your house by DVLA. After you get a provisional license, the next thing you need to do is to book your theory test and pay for it. So the theory test costs £23, and it's the structure of the theory test is in 2 sections. So the first section is the multiple choice questions, which is you're going to have 50 multiple choice questions, and you must get at least 43. If you get below 43, then you fail, you have to do it again. And then the second part is the hazard perception, where you would be shown videos and then asked to sort of like click on the hazard. You could be shown a video of someone driving a car, and then a little boy just tries to run into the road, so you need to click on the little boy as the hazard, that sort of thing. So that, I think there's about 10 or 11 hazards. I can't remember. It's been almost 2 years since I did mine. No, it's been over 2 years since I did mine. And so for this one, the total score you can get is 75, and the lowest you can get is 55. So if you get below 55, you fail, and you need to pass your multiple choice and hazard perception to pass your theory test. So if you get 48/50 in your theory, in your multiple choice, and you get below 55 in your hazard perception, you fail. So you need to get that minimum. So now there's an app called Theory 4-in-1. That's what I used to practice for mine. It has lots of multiple choice questions. It has lots of hazard perception videos as well that is going to be very helpful. So when I downloaded the app, there was something called money back guarantee. So they said if you finish all the questions, all the videos on the app, and you still do not pass your test, then they will refund you your test money, basically, so you can book your test again. But obviously I didn't need to do that because I passed with flying colors anyways. But yeah, so that's about that. So I'm sure there's more apps out there, but the one I use is the Theory 4-in-1. I know there are YouTube videos, I know there are TikTok videos as well, and on the gov.uk site there should be like the driving guidelines and all of that you should be able to sort of like read through. But I read that for a while, but I didn't get the vibe I wanted, because imagine reading a whole maybe biology textbook when you could just go through the past questions and answers, if that makes sense. So that's just the vibe was different, but it's totally the same thing, anyone you choose to use. Now after you've got your theory test, the next thing you need to do is book your practical test. So remember, the first thing is apply for a provisional license. Once you get it, book your theory test, write it and pass. You need to have passed your theory test to be able to book a practical test. Now the driving test, which is known as the practical, costs £62 for cars, because that's what I can remember paying. Now the wait times for the practical test sometimes is very long. It could depend on your city, it could depend on your center and all of that. So as at the time when I was trying to register, if I was registering in April, the dates I was getting was like maybe July or August. But now I downloaded an app which is called the Testy app. Again, you see all these things, you're just spending money. I downloaded an app called the Testy app. It has the free version, but you have to sort of like always be on the app to check. So they would always post like cancellation date. So if maybe I booked my test for August and this is April, someone cancels in May, if I'm fast enough, I might be able to get that date. So the testing app would show you. But now paying for premium gives you the ability to sort of like link your tests, booking, whatever, to the app. So once you get that cancellation date, you just click and it takes you directly to the DVLA site, and you know, 1 or 2 clicks and you're able to change your date. Because sometimes before you log on, put all your details and all of that, the dates will go, because everybody is waiting for date. Like the wait times are that long. So I think the premium for that app is about £10. I cannot remember, don't quote me, but just check your app store. You should be able to see it. Now once you've booked your practical test, or rather even before you book it, you can start getting lessons. Now there's no one size fits all, so I can't tell you need 5 lessons, you need 10 lessons, but it's manual and there is automatic. If you get a manual license, that means if you do your driving test in a manual car, then you can drive any car. You can drive a manual or you can drive an automatic. But if you do your driving test in an automatic car, then your license is for automatic, so you cannot drive a manual. Most people always want to do manuals just so they have the flexibility to drive any type of cars. Now back to lessons. It depends on the instructor, depends on where you are, you know, it depends on, there's so many factors that determines, you know, maybe how many lessons you need or how much it would actually cost. After you do your theory, you have 2 years to do your practical before your theory expires. If you do not do your theory within 2 years, then you need to take your theory again. So if you're doing your practical and you're always failing, you need to remember that, oh, I've got just 2 years. After 2 years, I'll need to do the theory test again. So the most important thing you need to know about the practical test is that you cannot make more than 15 minor faults, and then you cannot make any dangerous or serious faults. So minor faults can be maybe things like, maybe the first time you do not use your mirror, maybe you're turning left and you do not use your left mirror, that could be marked as a minor fault. But sometimes it depends on the examiner. So when you pay for an instructor to sort of like teach you or guide you, they will tell you all these things. So you can have more than 15 minor faults. If you have more than 15 minor faults, you fail. If you have one serious fault, which is like maybe if you make the examiner maybe interfere in your driving, maybe you're steering wrongly or you're going to hit somebody or something, so things like that are serious faults. So I did my test 3 times before I passed, yeah, and I invested a lot of money in it. The first time I did my test, I was still in Manchester, so I paid for 3 lessons, which was 6 hours, and I think it was £30, yeah, because there was some kind of promo going on at the time. It was £30 I paid per hour, so in total it was about £180, and on the day of the test I think I paid an additional £70 or so. So in total I paid about £250, and I still did not pass. This is just for the practice, not for the test itself. You know, the test itself we've registered for £62. So what made me feel is I had already done the whole test and I was going back to the center. So let's say I was less than 200 meters from the test center, and then there was like a really small road. Then there was another car coming and I was going, and I just sort of, you know, panicked, and I don't know what I was doing, but I was trying to give way to the car that had clearly stopped to let me pass. Just make it make sense, you know. And I think I was going to scratch the car which was parked on the left. So the instructor quickly put his hand on steering to, like, you know, steer me away, and I just knew I had failed, and I cried like a little baby, because like, come on, I was literally looking at the test center. But yeah, because you drive from the test center, you go round and then you come back to the test center, that sort of thing. So that was how I, you know, failed the first one after all the money I had paid. So when I moved to I was happy I failed anyways, because if I had probably passed, maybe I would have had an accident, because I wasn't confident enough anyways. So when I moved to Sheffield, first instructor I met in Sheffield charged me £40, and I paid for 3 lessons again, which is 6 hours. So 40 times 6 is £240. And he took me on the first one, and he goes, "You're not a safe driver." And I'm like, "Sorry, what?" He said, "No, you're not a safe driver, and I can't take you for your test. You need more lessons." So I'm like, "Okay, I can do 2 more lessons." And then yeah, so I did the first, after the first one I did the second one, the third one, and he was like, "Oh, I still can't take you for your driving test, you need more lessons." So I just wasn't, you know, I wasn't happy about the whole thing, you know, like I didn't feel like I was learning anything. Like, he was just wasting my time, you know, telling me, he was practically making us park, and then he's explaining things to me like, "Yo guy, let's get on the road, I'm paying for this hour, £40 an hour anyways." So that was another £240 down the drain. Remember, I've paid 250 before, so 240 now, so that's like, well, almost 500 pounds. Now I got another instructor, this time around a woman. This woman, hey, I think she's got some Nigerian blood in her, because I don't know how she did it, but she made me pay for 5 lessons stretch. That's 10 hours. And guess how much she was charging? 40 pounds. But then when you pay for the bulk, she gives you a discount. So instead of paying 400 pounds, I paid 380 pounds. So at this point, I spent almost 1,000 pounds. So, oh my god. So we started the lessons, and she was like, oh, I think you can drive, you understand the basics, but you just need a little more practice. And yeah, so we drove around. She oh my god. So I told her I wanted to use the last lesson for my test. So basically, she was only going to take me around 4 times, and then on the 5th time, which should have been the last 2 hours, I wanted to reserve that for my test. So after we had done 4 lessons, she goes, oh, I don't think you're ready. And guess what? I literally already have my test. Maybe my test is on Monday and today is Friday, and she's telling me, I don't think you're ready. And I'm like, woman, I'm ready. I need to get this test done. She's like, oh, if I take you and you fail, it's going to go on my records. I can't do that. Or maybe I'll tell my son to take you. And at this point, I was already comfortable with her, you know. I was almost crying, because like, yo, guys, I spent almost 1,000 pounds and you're telling me I'm not ready for my test. Like, what's happening here? But anyway, she was like, oh, you just need one more lesson and all of that, because she really wanted to use that last lesson. So we used the last lesson the next day, and we had like a mock test and all of that. So they would usually drive you through the routes that you would drive during the test, if that makes sense. So I was trying to, you know, get familiar with the roads and all of that. We had a mock test, and she was like, oh, you've passed the mock test, so I guess you're now ready. Now on the day of the test, she charged me 100 pounds just to take me to the test. Anyways, yeah, and guess what? She just sits at the back, but we used her car. So after everything, it was a woman, you know, she was being nice to the woman, because obviously they know her, because she's an instructor that always brings people to that center. So I think 10 minutes into the test, I had failed. We're at the roundabout. I stopped and waited for a bit. Just when I was about to enter, I don't know where this heavenly car came out from, but a car just came out, and obviously it looked like I don't know, it looked like I was going to interfere with him. We're not going to have an accident or anything, but the fact that a car came out and I had to, like, you know, obviously increase my speed so he doesn't hit me and all of that, I knew I had failed. But then every other thing I did after that was good. So I just thought in my head that the woman would say, oh, that's just a mistake, you're a good driver, and probably, you know, pass me. And we got to the test center, and she said, oh, you have failed. Oh god, I cried like a baby again, because, you know, when you think about the amount of money that you have spent, that alone is enough to make you cry. So she was like, oh, you're a good driver, but it was just, you know, that one mistake. I think I had like 3 minor faults. It was just that, because I tried my best. I was even gisting with this woman, making her feel comfortable, but it is what it is. I did not pass that time. So the instructor was like, oh, you tried, you did your best, you know, don't worry, I'll give you a discount. We just do like maybe 1 or 2 more lessons. And I told her, I'm not doing 1 or 2 more lessons, I can only do 1 lesson. If you're not going to take me, please don't take me. So she's like, oh, okay, that's fine. When you get a date, let me know this and all of that. So I got a date, and then I let her know. So she was like, oh, we need to have 1 more lesson. So she came, she took me. Now I paid another 80 pounds. Now the day of the test was supposed to be 100 pounds, and I told her that, and then she said she was going to give me a discount of 20 pounds, so I should pay 80 pounds. You won't believe that after the test, I paid 80 pounds, and this woman asked me for her balance, because she was like, she can't remember giving me a discount. But don't worry, let's not talk about that. So now this time around, we did the test. I tried my best. You know, it was a guy. I was almost going to fail at a roundabout again, but he said the only thing that made him pass me is the fact that I looked before I, you know, went into the road. I can't, almost like, it took me almost 2 years of driving on that road to realize why he was actually going to fail me. But yeah, you do like the different kinds of parking. Sometimes they just tell you pull up on your left, they tell you do the reverse brake parking, do this, do that, and all that. But when you get your instructor, they'll tell you all of that, so you can just pay for whatever hours you want to pay. But I passed on my 3rd attempt. Some people are not so lucky. Some people pass on their 1st attempt. Oh, I give it up to them. Some people pass on their 5th attempt, their 6th attempt. But I managed to pass on my 3rd attempt after spending over 1,000 pounds just trying to get a UK license. So that's about how to get your full UK driving license. So you get your provisional license of 34 pounds, you do your theory test, which is 23 pounds, then you book your practical test, which is about 62 pounds, and then you pay for lessons if you want. You can also use your car to go for the test, but your car obviously has to meet some requirements, like you have to, your tire, the tread on your tire has to be, I think, I can't remember the depth, please don't quote me anywhere, but your tires have to be all right. Then you need to get the L sign, paste it on your car front and back, and then you just need a mirror. You don't need, because if you use an instructor's car, that side will usually have like a brake and all that. You don't need to do all of that in your car. You just need a mirror, which the examiner would put somewhere. So I would put a picture of the mirror, because my husband used his car for his test. He didn't need to pay anybody. He used his car for his test. So yeah, I'll put a picture of the mirror so you can see it. So that's just all you need in case you want to use your car. In case if you're a good driver, just get someone to drive with you or to drive you to the test center, do your test in your car, and as God will have it, if you pass, you pass. But that's about it for getting your full UK driving license. I do hope you don't spend as much money as I spent trying to get it, but if you do, it's what it is. And thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Until we meet again, bye.